Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here tonight for season number 11. It's Division 2. It's round 13 of the Championship, the penultimate round of the Championship, as we take in the Qatar Grand Prix from the Lusail International Circuit. My name is James Head. I'm delighted to be taking to the stream, of course, as always, on this fine Saturday afternoon, evening, wherever you may be. Hope you're all doing well. I'm going to be taking to the stream, of course, here tonight. And you might have heard from last week, we did have a title decider, even though Rick didn't even attend. This is what the standings did after last week's race. Of course, it was a fantastic win, actually, for Conor O'Keefe. His first race win of the season, his first podium of the season, in fact. Fantastic effort from him. He won. Second position went to Will Anyway. Third went to Ben JS. So very, very critical, I think, in terms of that battle for P2 for Will Anyway and Ben JS picking up the point. Rick has already wrapped up the championship coming into tonight. Cannot be caught. Larkin, however, has got something to defend in terms of his P2 with 163 points to his name. Taupe there in third and 157. Will Anyway in fourth and 141. And Ben JS in fifth and 137. Now that is the main battle in terms of the championship going forward, in terms of the drivers' standings. Larkin, of course, leading by 6 points over Taupe. Taupe has been right there or thereabouts in terms of him. Well, anyway, 141. He's coming into form recently. And Ben JS coming into form, of course, after his first podium since Azerbaijan, since that Baku Grand Prix in round number 8 of the championship. And it was one of those races where last week, you have to see it to believe it, really. I think it was a really good race, really clean in terms of driving standards, proven that in the steward reports. No stewarding reports to report, which is really good. And hopefully, my voice is going to last, which is the main thing. Let's have a look, though, at the track map in question. It is the Lusail International Circuit, 5.3 kilometres and then 3.3 mile, 16 turns. Away now a driver's out on track. Just the one DRS on, one down the start-finish straight in towards turn number 1, but plenty of overtaking. And you wouldn't think it, that this track is actually got a little bit of elevation to it. You saw it there, coming out turn 16, down the hill and towards turn number 1, there is about a 15-foot drop in terms of elevation around this track. So it's going to be really key, I think, to see how the drivers get on and cope with the trials and tribulations of Qatar. And speaking of Qatar, we're out on track right now. 15 drivers going to be in the lobby here tonight. And hopefully, I'm not going to cast your minds back into my race that I had around here in Division 4, but I may as well say it just while we've got a little bit of time. Division 4 last season, full wet race. And I got robbed of the race win that day as well because of major fault, because of Axel, I think, crashing, coming through turn number 9. And yeah, I got robbed of that race win. So thanks, Axel, for that, if you are listening in. Patuka, by the way, is the first man out on track. He's in the Williams here tonight, of course, alongside his teammate in Pewley Boy. And it is going to be really intriguing, I think, tonight, because we've obviously got that battle for P2, but we've also got quite a lot to maybe dive into in terms of the tyres. I think tyre length, certainly, it's going to be really, really key, I think, to see how the drivers fare in terms of track. But Felipe is going on a set of hard compound tyres bollocks. Conor O'Keefe on a set of Inters, Larkin on a set of Inters, Legend on a set of Inters, Chill on a set of Inters. Now that says to me they're going to do a double soft stint potentially in this race. And if that is the case, then they will be doing that on that set of soft compound tyres. So it'll be really, really keen, I think, to see how the drivers get on. As I say, Patuka is the first man out on track. He's now coming to the right-hander of turn number 13, I think. I'm just miscounting my corners, I think. Through 14, and then until the left-hander turn number 15. See, I'm professional. Patuka coming through the right-hander now and towards turn number 16. Let's ride on board then with a lap of the Lusail International Circuit. Here, normally, MotoGP comes around here. Of course, Formula 1 has been here since 2021, since an inaugural winning. Then missed out the calendar in 2022, was back last season in 2023, where Max Verstappen absolutely romped home in terms of the race win. Patuka, though, down in towards turn number 1. Where is the Finn going to set on terms of this lap time? Coming out from the left-hander turn number 2. We'll turn time and from the left-hand side, just so you get a better view of the track. And Patuka already very oversteery in terms of his setup. Through 3 and 4. Now in towards the right-hander, I think, turn number 5, I think this is. Through turn number 6. And then into the left-hander turn number 7. See, I do miscount corners around here sometimes. 27 flat through the first sector from Patuka. as Michael Collins has joined the lobby, which is good. We'll get on Discord in just a second, just while we complete this lap. But Tuka now coming to the right-hander turn number 8, and then into the left-hander turn number 9, then through the right-hander into turn 10, and then into the left-hander turn number 11. Already, Patuka has invalidated in terms of his lap time. So we've got a ball with one of the Red Bulls. Others J. Cole on a lap. I think one of the Mercedes is on a lap as well. And QVR Chill, not really setting anything special, I'll be honest, through the first sector. Legends on a set of inters. Larkin is on a set of inters. Conor O'Keefe is on a set of inters. However, this man, Felipe, is on a set of hard compound tyres. But judging by his first sector, he's clearly made a mistake in that first sector. 28.9 in the first sector. Very, very interesting first sector, I've got to say there from Felipe. I will just load into Discord so Mr. Bunnies knows where we are in terms of tonight. That's where you hear the ping in the background. There we are, we're on Discord now, and hopefully we'll be hearing from our co-coms in just a second. But 4 minutes gone in the session, nobody's hitting the lap time. Felipe's purple in the middle sector out of everyone, 57.3 in that middle sector. We should be seeing, though, 55s, mid-55s, I think, in that middle sector. And Felipe nearly goes for a spin, coming through turn number 14. Now to the left-hander 15, as Chill there sets his lap time with a 1:28 flat. Felipe, though, invalid in terms of this lap time. Drivers really finding it hard out on track, and this is what I alluded to earlier on. Division 4, I know how to wet race around here. I can definitely tell you that, because I was in that race. Felipe, by the way, would have went with quickest lap time of a 26.2. Better, though, now by Legend on a 27.1. As I think Michael comes alongside me in the commentary box. Mr. Bunnies, are you here?
I am, and very excited to be here at that. Here at Qatar. A very interesting circuit, I have to say. It's certainly, it was very good as a MotoGP circuit for all those years, and then F1 started coming here, so we'll just have to see how it is for the F1 games now.
Yeah, definitely so. Judging by the lap time being set in so far, Coxey's out on top with a 21.5, I think that is. I can't read my screen because the sun is glaring at my screen right now. Larkin in second on a 25.6 and Conor O'Keefe in third on a 25.9. Most drivers, though, send on a set of intermediate compound tyres. That means, of course, two-stop strategies. It's going to be a dry race. But it also means double soft stints, potentially, is what we could be seeing within the race. It could be medium, soft, 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 medium, soft. Any combination, really, as Jacob there goes to the line and goes quick as 1:21.2. So, not bad lap times being set so far, but not many lap times actually being set at this stage, even though we've only got 15 drivers.
Yeah, I mean, we've only got 12.5 minutes left, and we've got 3 representative lap times on the board with J. Cole, Coxey, and Matt Tibos, all having set times on softs, but Larkin, Conor O'Keefe, Legend, and Chill have all set their times on the inters, so that's interesting to see. You can also see Felipe going around on the hards, so that's also quite interesting to see. And then, yeah, there's a solid few drivers in the pits as well, and then, well, anyway, for example, on an out lap on the softs, we'll see him going for a flying lap just in a moment as he's rounding the penultimate corner now. And it'll be interesting to see how the Alfa Romeo does, and it'll be interesting to see how everyone else does when they start setting representative lap times.
Yeah, definitely so. Well, anyway, of course, is in that title fight for second position right now. Championship, by the way, is already wrapped up. Rick is not here for the final 2 races of the championship. Larkin's 80-odd points behind. Championship is already decided, so we've only got the battle for P2, but what a battle for P2 it is. As well, anyway, is one of those guys fighting out for P2. I think he's on 141 points coming into tonight, so currently in 4th in the standings. We're coming through the right-hander turn number 3, and he invalidates coming through that part of the lap as well. That is a very strange invalidation from Will anyway, taking way too much curb, being very greedy. We'll see what his first sector would have been. 26.7, so first personal best out of everyone, I think, in that first sector. But he invalidated coming through turn number 3, a corner that I didn't think he could invalidate that, but then again, he's proven me wrong.
Yeah, you never really know, especially in a circuit like this. You can go pretty wide at basically any corner here with little to no consequence in terms of spinning in a gravel trap or hitting a wall. So it's up to the drivers to just control themselves, keep them inside the track limits. You can't just run it out to the gravel trap or anything. I think there's really effectively nowhere on the circuit where that is the option of you just sort of run it out to the gravel trap and you're still within track limits. So you really have to be careful that you're keeping it within the white lines if you're one of these 15 drivers. And oh, it's a big stamp of oversteer for Ariel Felipe there, driving around on the hards still. And I think we'll definitely see a lot of invalidations. Well, perhaps a few invalidations throughout the qualifying, but a lot of time penalties potentially during the race. There's some very fast, sort of high-speed corners here where it's very easy to just understeer out wide and just accidentally pick up a warning for yourself. 3 of those, of course, and you've got yourself a 3-second time penalty. So we'll see how these drivers manage the track limits throughout the race.
Yeah, it's very easy to run wide, I've got to say, around this track. I did it quite a few times last season, I'll be honest, around here in Division 4, and that was a full wet race. If I haven't said that already, that was a full wet race. So hopefully, we haven't got that here tonight in Division 2. A Beauty Boy I'm on board with actually coming to the middle sector. 54 laps, he's actually down in what, well, anyway, we're setting coming to the middle, the first and middle sectors, now coming to the final sector, through the right-hand turn number 14, and then into this very tricky left-hand turn number 15, goes a very low 7th gear. You can down into 6th and actually gain a little bit of time out of that, so Beauty Boy will note that, I'm sure, as he's nearly about to run out of battery coming through the final corner on the run to the line, and already has used all of his battery. The deploy has been used on the run to the lines. He's only reaching 184 mile an hour down the straight, and he only goes 5th with a 121.6, so given how he used that deployment up, what, halfway down the straight, he ran out of fuel, he ran out of deployment. That 21.6 can be taken with a pinch of salt. If he had full deployment on the run to the line, that probably would have been at least 2/10 quicker.
Yeah, hard to say exactly how much faster, but definitely it sounds like 2/10 or so probably could have been done. We'll have to wait and see. There are still 5 drivers yet to set a lap time, so still a lot of the grid left to be decided, as I think the next person to cross the line is Chill. He goes up to P6, so that's a solid lap time for the Mercedes driver. We've got Jay Hings on a lap, we've got Pharrell on a lap, we've got Taupe on an out lap, Patuka in the pits, and Well Anyway on an out lap. So those are our 5 yet to set lap times. Pharrell is going to finish his lap in just a moment, actually, as he comes up onto the final straight, opens up the DRS. Where is he going to put it? He's going to go into 6th. So a solid lap time for Pharrell in the Ferrari. He'll be looking for more, of course. Everyone is, unless you're in pole. But still, a solid lap time. I think you should be happy with that.
Definitely happy with that. I think, obviously, he had a lot of deployment actually on the run toward the line there, so he must have tried to save as much as possible going on to that lap time, and then saving part of that throughout the lap as well in terms of his deployment. You have to try and figure out when to use the deployment, when not. Probably the first sector, coming through turn 6 and 7 especially, is where you will gain quite a lot of ERS. As Jay Hings comes to the line, he used up a full deployment to the line and went 3rd with a 21.4, so not a bad run there at all from him. Darry is up through the first sector. J. Cole is up in the middle sector. He's 2.5 up, actually, coming through the middle sector. There is a Mercedes coming in the pit lane. There's a Williams, I think that might be her Beauty Boy on the run toward the line as well. Currently sitting in 7th, 21.6 for his name. Does he go any quicker? No, he's coming across the line. Might be just setting up onto another lap time. But J. Cole coming now through the final couple of corners. On the run toward the line now. Coming out of turn 16. This long drag, nearly a 1.5 kilometre straight. Down in towards turn number 1. J. Cole on the run to the line. Goes quickest with a 20.9. So not a bad run there at all from him. Legend there in 2nd. Darry there in 3rd. Already setting big times out on track. Taupe is coming through the middle sector, and Taupe's middle sector is a 53.8, so he's down on what J. Cole was setting, but he's certainly going to be up on what Darry and Legend have just set, as Darry there now follows suit in terms of making it a Red Bull 1-2. Where have we seen that one before? Oh, as soon as I say that.
Yeah, where have I seen that one before? Just about everywhere nowadays, unfortunately. Although not, unfortunately, if you're a Red Bull fan and a Max Verstappen fan. However, anyways, we have Connor O'Keefe coming up to the final corner now. We're going to see what kind of lap time he can set pretty quick through that final corner, I have to say. Certainly better than I could do. He opens up the DRS. The deployment is used. The finish line is well down the straight. And that's the 2nd Ferrari today we've seen going into P6. So that's Connor O'Keefe up into P6.
Yeah, I think another 10.5 improvement, at least, because he's another one that used the deployment about 3/4 the way down the straight there on the run to the line. His deployment was used up fully by then. And Conor O'Keefe, of course, won last week, of course, in... Where were we last week? Hang on, I've completely forgot. I've just ran through it. Hungary last week. Hungary for more, I'm sure Conor O'Keefe will be. He's there in 6th position with a 21.377, but it is well anyway out on top. J. Cole second, Darry there in 3rd, so it was a Red Bull 1-2. As soon as I mentioned that comment, though, well anyway went quick with a 20.855, so 500th of a second covering the top 2. Darry there in 3rd, less than just over a 10th away from Will anyway. This qualifying session is well and truly up there. I've just had a message, by the way, from Ariel Philippe, who's just starting on his lap time right now. For a bit of context, I haven't touched the game in 2 weeks, did 0 laps practice and accidentally picked the default balance setup. My wings are 13.11, which, judging by his lap time right now, is probably, yeah, just about the most understeering setup I think I've ever seen around here.
Yeah, although I think that lap time may have been set on the hards. It was 4-lap-old hards is what that lap time was set on. So we'll see how he does when he puts on the softs. But given that hard lap time was about what the inters were doing, yeah, that's not looking good for Philippe. So we'll see how he does now that he's on the softs. Also, Patuka, the other driver out on track. So these two are the only ones that haven't set representative lap times yet. Philippe and Patuka. We'll see how the two of them do.
We will indeed see how they both do out on track. Felipe is now coming in toward the right-hand turn number 16. If that was on a 4-lap set of old hard compound tyres, I'm imagining he'll go around 2.5 seconds quicker, I think, in terms of this lap time. It's normally what you find from a set of softs from a set of hards for a set of softs around here. So Felipe, I'm gonna bank on around about a 23.2, 23.1, somewhere in that region, I think, is what he'll set. Coming now through the first sector, he's not looking too bad, actually, coming through this first sector now, in towards now the right-hander of turn number 5. His first sector split is going to be up and coming, but he's taking 6th gear coming through there. He is very unsteady coming through there, and he's through the first sector with a 27.5 in that first sector. Not the quickest we've seen tonight, I'll be honest, but Felipe, now into the right-hand return number 7, is not looking too bad. At least he's up on his lap time, though. That's the main thing.
Yeah, definitely, and as he flies through this fast, high-speed section, we'll see how he manages the understeer out of here. Does pretty well, all things considered, but this is going to be the real test of his commitment. With an understeery setup, how can he manage all of these high-speed corners? And he's understeering all over the place. We've seen him understeering through turn 2, among other places, oversteering through turn 1 even. And then now through the penultimate corner, more understeer even. Through the final corner, what's it gonna be? He hits the gas, he gets the DRS open. Where is he going to go? He'll probably stay where he is. He will indeed. It's a 23-2.
And what did I predict at the start of the lap? Thank you very much.
Yep. Well predicted, as Patuka goes 12th with a 121.7. So that's all of our representative lap times on the board. Of course, Felipe could be doing better had he chosen the setup he wanted, but unfortunately he didn't. So this is more or less the pace of our grid. Of course, lots of time for them to change their position on the grid. Say if Chill is not doing as well as he could be doing, he could still go up lots of positions. But it's interesting, to say the least, now seeing sort of the full range of the grid. You got some drivers in the 20s, and then of the drivers who got the setup on that they want, it goes down to the low or the high even 21s, and then across the entire grid all the way to the 23.2s.
And Farrell actually just ran on board with his lap time, 53.9 on the middle sector, so he's well up on what Felipe was doing. But he is only back 300ths up on his own time, so Farrell needs to find a little bit of time here. Coming through the left-hander at turn number 15, in towards now the right-hander at turn number 16. Pit lane, of course, adjacent to the right-hand side of the track. Now coming on the run toward the line. This long drag on the run toward the line. Down the hill, that 15-foot drop, as I mentioned, in the pre-qualifying, 21.6. does improve, did find a bit of time, and that was because I think he had deployment on that lap toward the end of that lap. Jay Hings there has crashed coming through turn number 3, and that's actually coming through the corner that Pharrell's coming through right now. So Jay Hings there has crashed. There might be an illegal blocking penalty if they're not careful. There's a big car park coming through the final sector. Coxie goes to the line to go 6. Just seeing if there's anybody else on lap time right now. Don't think there is. Chill has invalidated on the 10th improvement through the first sector, so he is down at the moment. Pharrell there, obviously just backing off his lap. Matt Tibos just just ended his run, 21.3. But it seems like Tope, Darry, J. Cole are the ones to watch. Well, anyway, didn't even try to venture out. So, well, anyway, clearly either saving a set of soft compound tyres, or clearly thinking he's done enough for pole position. J. Cole in the first sector, though, is already 800s down, so that might be quite cheeky from well anyway, and it might be the right thing at the moment, as Darry is up by a 10th and a half in the first sector, so that might not be the case.
Yeah, it's looking tense right now. It's hard to say who will take pole. It could be well anyway. Of course, he is there in provisional pole. J. Cole having invalidated, as I think you said, but we'll have to just wait and see. Can Darry do anything? Can Tope do anything?
Oh,
there's
Tope.
a huge train of cars coming to the line soon. Through the penultimate corner for the first of them. We'll see where everyone goes now. Coxie into the pits. Darry is going, or apologies, J. Cole's next, but he's invalidated. Who's it going to be next? I think Matt Tibos into the pit lane. Tote is going to be next to cross the line on a representative lap time. What is it going to be for the Mercedes driver? Can he take pole away?
No.
He can't. He only goes 4th.
Darry does.
But Darry goes pole. Darry takes pole position.
1100th of a second, Legend to the line. They're just improving. Jay Hingsley has left the session, which hopefully isn't a sign maybe that he's just disconnected on a whim, and maybe something like that. Jay Hings, I'm sure, will tell us in the chat if needs be. But Darry has stolen that pretty much right at the death, and that was because Tope made a significant error coming through turn number 15. That's why you might have heard me in the background when Bunnies was speaking alongside me there. Tope made a mistake. That cost him, quite literally, I think, all of his lap time, really. And he ended up down in 4th position. He would have improved beyond Darry and beyond Will anyway. So Tope, chance gone astray there, but it's Darry who takes pole position from Will anyway there in 2nd. J. Cole there in 3rd. Tope there in 4th. Conor O'Keefe there in 5th, with Legend in 6th, 2.5 tenths. Covering the top 6 is not too bad. Coxie there in 7th, Matt Tibos in 8th, the Beauty Boy and Jay Hings there starting off in the top 10. Then Pharrell in 11th, Larkin, who's currently P2 in the standings, down in 12th. Patuka 13th, Chill in 14th, and Felipe 23.2. 2.5 seconds off the pace. To be honest, Division 3 would make him look very ordinary, I've got to say, in terms of that lap time, but that is because he's on that default setup, and that default setup is the worst possible thing to have going on to a track like Qatar. So do not be surprised if Mr. Nolan there in the chat is going to be with us for a hell of a lot more longer than what may be the case out on track. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and as I'm just gonna let you do the talking for the first chunk of the formation lap, at least, as I gotta run and do something. I'll just be 2 seconds though. Apologies.
No worries at all. We will get on to the formation lap very soon, and DJ Hings has left the session, so hopefully everything is a-okay in terms of him. Nolan's saying in the chat it's not even default. I've saved a different setup under Qatar for some reason. I don't know what setup was a 13-11 wings, but I saved it as Qatar. Yeah, that's why you go into time trial, like, what, 5-10 minutes before the lobby's supposed to begin? Just have a look at a Qatar setup, maybe steal mine, and then have a go and see how that feels. That's probably a bit of trial and error, I think, is probably the best way to go at it there. But obviously he has got a different track setup on compared to Qatar, which is going to put him very much down toward the back end of the field. But you never know. Stranger things have happened in League of Europe. You never know. He might still win there from P15. At least he'll be getting a point if he completes about 75% race distance. Darry, though, out on top. Well, anyway, in 2nd, the formation up is now beginning out on track. And we've got a real mix, I've got to say, in terms of the tyres coming into tonight. Set of softs for Darry. Very interesting, because they only last about 5 or 6 laps around here. Everyone else pretty much on a set of mediums, bar Jay Hings in 10th. That might be AI-induced rather than anything else. And Felipe there in 15th on the set of hard compound tyres. So clearly the set of hard compound tyres have got pretty much the better durability in the first half of the race. But remember, this is two-stop strategy. We're not going to be going and seeing Hog companetized to around about lap 13, lap 14, and then we get a double then we could get a double soft stint. We're not going to see the one-stop strategies. That's pretty much impossible. You get disqualified if that is the case. But I think everyone on the set of mediums is personally on the better strategy. I did a little bit of practice earlier on. Medium compound tyres have about 12, 13 laps in terms of lifespan. 50-odd%. It was about 55%, I think, in terms of my tyre wear throughout the first 11, 12 laps of the race. So if that is the case, set of medium compound tyres probably the ones to be on. On a set of soft compound tyres, they wear off, knowing how Darry goes in terms of his driving style. Darry will be more conservative, I think, off the race start. So, set of soft compound tyres might last longer for him, but not necessarily everyone else, and that's why they're prioritising those tyres towards the end of the session. Looking through the chat as well, Ren saying in the chat, 51 race wins in FORL, 62 wins in ORL in the stand, 105 in the IndyCar-based league on iRacing. Larkin is the champion of the season and forever. Unfortunately not, I'm afraid. It is Rick that is the champion here in League of Europe Division 2 this season, no matter if you have a look at the facts or not. It is just pretty much the case. But we are going to get going very soon indeed. So this is your last chance to get in. Who do you think is going to win this race? And I am immediately going to say NSR Legend for the race win. Down there in P6, normally a track that takes a lot of opportunity in terms of overtaking. He's on a set of medium compound tyres. He's on a more favourable side of the grid slot as well toward the pit lane where it is a little bit drier. We will see if Legend does get that race win out on track. And you never know, if I get another prediction right tonight, go and put the lottery numbers on. Darry, though, out on top.
Yeah,
well, anyway, alongside him.
Bold guess.
It is bold, but I'm a bold person. 5 lights are going to go out, though, in Qatar. And it is... Very nice camera angle, by the way. Nice and away we go. And J. Cole gets a brilliant start alongside Well Anyway. He could try and thread through the middle of both him and himself. And Well Anyway on the outside line in towards turn 1. Could be Red Bull 1-2 leaning in towards turn number 1. Darry will lead the way. Well Anyway there in second. J. Cole there in third. J. Cole gets the inside line for turn number 2. Gets the job done. So J. Cole Thuni's into second. Well Anyway there in third. Everyone I think is clean through in the background. Felipe, believe it or not, has overtaken somebody. It's Jay Hings who's still in AI mode. He hasn't joined the lobby, or rejoined the lobby that is. Larkin's getting in position past a Beauty Boy. Side by side between Chill and Pharrell. Everyone though well behaved as they come through in toward the first sector split. Darry leads the way. J. Cole there in second. Well Anyway there in third. And already on that set of soft compound tyres, Darry is pulling away from the field. 9/10 per second. For those softs come 6-7 laps in, they're going to be shot.
Yeah, it's very possible that they will be, I think. But you have to say, Darry has pulled out a very impressive gap already so far. A 1.3 second gap back to his teammate J. Cole. This is starting to feel a little bit too much like Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez for my liking.
It is a little bit. Darry getting the way out in front. 1.5 seconds coming toward the end of lap 1. Oh, big mistake there in the background. I think that was from QVR Chill, if I'm not mistaken. Getting very wide on the apex. Patuka catching him. Felipe has passes to say Jay Hings. He is about a second off the pace, though, compared to everyone else at this stage. You could see moves down towards turn 1. Connor O'Keefe is on the back of Taupe. Taupe is on the back of Will Anyway. If, though... Oh! I was going to say, if they have an inkling, they would just remain in behind, but Toad went for the move in towards turn 1 there, on the back of Well Anyway. Well Anyway got frightened almost, and has now lost 7/10 per second to the back of J. Cole, so that was an interesting one there from Toad. Obviously, he feels like he's got the pace. Somebody that has got the pace, though, is Legend, as he's now catching these guys out on track, as Tupman's wide there, coming through turn number 4 and 5, in towards now the left-hander turn number 6. Darry leads the way, J. Cole second, 2 seconds the gap, but already you can see medium compound tyres. J. Cole doesn't have to work too much of the battery. Darry, though, will have to work those tyres up to good effect. And at this stage, Darry leading the way out on top. J. Cole there in second. 2 seconds the gap. You can already tell those softs are dropping off basically because he hasn't gained as much as what he did on the first lap as Jill and Patuka side by side coming through the right-hander at turn number left-hander at turn 11, and that is Chill around the outside of Patuka. Brilliant move from the Mercedes. Thuni's into 12th.
Yeah, that was really nice from Chill, getting up into P12. He is doing well for himself, but next up will be Pharrell for him if he can keep moving up the grid. And our biggest winner so far is ERT Larkin. Larkin up 3 positions. Our biggest loser, so to speak, is Jay Hings, although I don't know that he really counts given he wasn't properly in the lobby to begin with. Otherwise, it's Well Anyway and He Pulley Boy, or He Pull Boy. What is that guy's
Hapuli
name?
boy.
Sorry. Pewley Boy. Okay, my bad. I've been struggling with that name all season. Either way, Well Anyway and he are the actually, yeah, as you say, Chill and Batuka side by side.
Still side by
Gonna be
side.
Chill on the outside.
That was coming
Sorry
through.
to cut over you there.
Go on. Oh, they get caught in each other.
Contact.
And Chill gets the move done.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a switchback for Patuka if he can get the traction. Not quite. Chill's gonna hold it in P12 for the time being. This is an excellent scrap between the Mercedes and the Williams. We'll see if Patuka can go for any more moves. The two of them are definitely providing some good entertainment in the early stages of this race.
Yeah, and Chill running wide there, coming through the left-hander turn number 10 there, and that has now put him completely on the back up. Patuka now under really pressurising the back there of the Mercedes, but that dirty air, you can see it on board with Patuka, that dirty air slings you completely off wide, so do not be surprised if drivers start picking up 3-second penalties here and there. Oh, as I've literally just said that, Felipe has picked up a 3-second penalty. Call me Mystic James out on track. Darry leads the way, J. Cole second, Well Anyway there in third, Tope there in fourth, everyone running line of stone formation. Well Anyway though, is he going for the attack around the outside of turn number 1 on J. Cole? J. Cole just defends the inside line. No, not quite, but J. Cole is sitting pretty there in second. 46% of ERS though, compared to Well Anyway, who's on 84 and Tope on 67. So J. Cole has got a little bit of ground to make up on the back. He'll be hoping though that those tyres for Darry go off sooner rather than later. I think that's the case. I think they'll go off around about lap 7, lap 8 sort of region. Everyone else in behind are going to be stuck behind J. Cole almost, because J. Cole's got 3.2 seconds to the back of Darry. He's got 51% of ERS. And Well Anyway, he's got 90%, so surely if J. Cole had a little bit of a brain, which I'm sure he does, and I'm sure he's listening to the stream, I think let Well Anyway go, let Tope go, just sit him behind and then just try and gain some of that ERS advantage back as Well Anyway. 86% just using a little bit of that up, and now coming through the right-handers of turns 12, 13 and 14, Well Anyway, right on the hunt for J. Cole there in second.
J. Cole's going to be getting himself a penalty at this rate, though I've watched him run wide on multiple of those fast right-handers. Well Anyway, doing the same at one or two of them. I don't know about Tope, but I have to say, Well Anyway's attack on J. Cole was dangerous at turn 1 for himself, not from an objective, oh, he's going to hit someone kind of standpoint, but in terms of the fact that he put himself very vulnerable to Tope, and I think he needs to consider that if he's going to go for another attempt at a move on J. Cole this time around. The gap is very big up to Darry, but this group, on the other hand, is so tightly packed together. J. Cole down to about, down to about Pharrell, are very close together. The really close together group, though, is J. Cole down to Larkin. These guys, any of them, could be in second by the end of this lap, really. It is going to be very chaotic, and I'd say keep an eye on this group, because they are going to give us a lot of action.
And that gap as well between Darry and J. Cole was 3.3. It's just gained another tenth of a second there, but you can already see set of soft compound tyres are going off compared to those on a set of mediums, and this is where probably on the next lap, and probably on lap 7 especially, this is where we'll see those set of soft compound tyres drop off. So if I was in Darry's shoes, I'd be actually coming in the pit lane just to try and conserve my advantage out on track, and then go maybe for maybe a set of hards, I would say, halfway through the race, and then just try and gain the advantage. Everyone else will be on a set of mediums. Once he's on that set of hards, he'll be gaining the time still, and Darry will be out in front for that final stint. So that could be really crucial. He's got to think tactically here about what he does. Gap is 3.6, so he is gaining the ground still. J. Cole there in second. There's a battle though going on in behind. Larkin there to the outside line on the back of Matt Tibos. And Well Anyway gets around the outside, I think, on J. Cole through turn number 1. That is job done and through, and is into second. And Larkin there's into 8th position on the back of Matt Tibos. So Beauty Boy in behind is going to try and factor in that battle as well. Chill and Patuka still side by side there going through turn number 2. Had this battle, brilliant battle a couple of laps ago. Chill there into 12. Patuka there in 13th, but Chill has got a 3-second penalty. Darry leading the way. Well Anyway there in second. And if and at this stage, if I was in Well Anyway shoes right now, there's a yellow flag. Is that Chill? That's round it is. Chill round coming through turn number 4. Might have got caught in a bit of contact with Batuka there, potentially.
Yeah, we saw how aggressively those two were battling. It's not impossible there was some contact between them. And certainly it must be said, though, when you have those two battling so close together, contact is always a possibility. Then you look at the train that is, well anyway, downwards, and I'd say there's definitely a lot of chance for contact here. So it's definitely, I think all the drivers in this sort of upper midfield to, well, I suppose lower podium positions to upper, or all the way down to really lower points paying positions, they just have to be very vigilant at a time like this, trying not to get themselves into any unnecessary incidents.
Ooh,
It's going to be Tope on J. Cole now? No, he's too far back.
And Batuka actually into the pit lane, so I'm not sure if he's maybe picked up damage with that instant with J. Cole, with Kvyat Chill. He's actually passed him out on track. There is a front wing change, so they've obviously had contact out on track. So there is a front wing change for the Williams. Set a whole compound tyres going on. He'll go set us up towards the end of the race. I can guarantee you that. Batuka into the pit lane, set a whole compound tyres on. You can gain that little bit of ERS back as well in the pit lane, and a bit of fuel. Fuel is everything around this track. You want to put in probably about 2 laps more than necessary, I've got to say, around this track, because it's one of those where you're going full throttle, basically 80-85% I think of the lap, and that is going to drain that fuel battery low. That's also going to drain the ERS potentially low. So drivers have got to be really managing this, and it's probably the most managed race I think we've had all season in this stage of the season. But only 2 rounds to go, including tonight, in the season left. By the way, Division 1 is live. If you do want to tune in for that as well, they're behind us right now. Newthard on top from Campbell in second, and Franek in third. Mustache there in fourth, Verstappen and Fitz. If you do want to tune in for that, you can do. If you want to see, though, battle for P2 here out on track, stay here for now. Gary leading the way. Well, anyway, there in second. J. Cole there in third. Although I can't promise you that J. Cole will get the move done down in towards turn 1, because everyone is just sitting in a nice old DRS train right now just to try and conserve their batteries.
Yeah, that of course ends up being the issue with a circuit like this, and I have to say, I suspect this is a very potential issue F1 will be coming across at Qatar in real life, as well as Batuka going for a spin from the looks of it, as yeah, slowly in the third sector, moving slowly, that is. But that is the issue sort of with this circuit is, you come to a circuit that's perfectly built for motorcycles, and you can't really expect it to work that well with 4-wheeled cars suddenly. I mean, it can work, don't get me wrong, but you do definitely run the risk of ending up with situations like this where you just have long DRS train Puli Boy. 6 drivers not in this DRS train, as Derry actually goes into the pits. That's our race leader. Always he locks up going into the pit lane, gets it slowed down in time, and he's going to be putting on the mediums.
Yeah, medium compound tyres on for the car. Apologies, by the way, if that did lag. I was getting Discord up on my iPad, and it lagged everything within the commentary box, and it also lagged the stream. So apologies about that. I'm not sure what on earth happened, but there we are. Derry there is coming out of the pit lane, though, on a set of medium compound tyres, and this is to gain that advantage back on what he's potentially losing now from, well, anyway, J. Cole and Tope out on track. And there is Chill, by the way, coming down in towards turn number 1 just ahead of him. So Derry has got within a second Chill. Very good news from his perspective, because he has got the DRS range now within on the back of Derry, but he's got so much fresher tyres now compared to Chill ahead of him. He is going to be right there or thereabouts, I think, in terms of a move, maybe even towards turn number 6 here. Coming to the right hand of turn number 5, now until the left hand of turn number 6. Does he risk it like Daniel Kvyat on an AI car back in AERL? I think it's named, the Abu Dhabi Autonomous Racing League that's going on right now. Derry, though, in towards turn number 7, tries to get the job done, not on an AI-induced car almost, and Chill right now, but coming down through the right hand of turn number 9, into the left hand of turn number 10, and he is so quick coming through this part of the lap, goes around the outside of turn number 10. Chill is having absolutely none of that. Little bit of a weave saying sorry there, I think, from Chill. But Chill's holding up Dari a treat, and this is going to gain the front runners a little bit of time out on track. So it might be the case where Dari, the more he gets held up here, more, well, anyway, J. Cole and Taupe are going to be near him once they come in the pit lane.
And do you think it's possible Chill is doing this in the effort of helping Taupe even? His teammate up in third is going to be, if he can hold up Dari enough, Taupe is going to be one of his main rivals, but Dari's going to be on the inside down towards turn one, and he's surely going to be through even before the braking zone. He is. That is an easy move for the Red Bull, and we'll see if he's our net race leader come the end of, or come when the front runners take their pit stops, but certainly he pitted out of the lead, and he certainly could be the net race leader. We'll have to wait and see.
Definitely so. Just right on board actually with Dari. Lovely helicopter cam coming through the entirety of the first sector. Just turned off the timing tower just to try and admire this, to be honest. Dari is purple in that first sector as well, so he is going to be gaining on the back of the guys ahead of him. Well, anyway, J. Cole and Taupe being the top three right now. On lap 10 out of 29, nothing's really happened. Apart from Batuka just picking up a 3-second penalty and him having front wing damage. Jay Hings leaving the session, his internet dying. Everything, I think, has gone according to plan. There's been no real incidents apart from Chill and Batuka. No real VSE safety cars. Well, anyway, is into the pits. Everyone, in fact, is into the pit lane. Top 5 are in. Larkin's going to stay out. Top 16 are in. Larkin stays out, but Tibble stays out. Her Beauty Boy stays out. Pharrell, though, was into the pit lane, so it could be a double stack there for the Ferraris, but pretty much 7 out of the top 10 there into the pit lane. That's to try and cover off Dari's advantage. Some may go hards, some may go softs, some may stay on the medium compound tires if they've got another set. And judging by this, most are going for a set of mediums. J. Cole being very animated, going on a set of softs. Well, anyway, I think they selected the wrong tyres there, potentially. And he's on a set of hards, and he's behind Chill coming out the pit lane. And in fact, they're all behind Chill coming out the pit lane, which is great news now for Dari. Gap is, what, 6 seconds between Dari and Will anyway? Huge margin to have at this stage of the race. And that gap is going to grow when Chill holds up the bag to Will anyway, J. Cole, at least.
So mediums for most drivers, but J. Cole going softs, well anyway, going hards. This will be very interesting to see how this turns out, and I definitely think the undercut is more powerful. I was going to ask that when I got an opportunity, and then everybody pulled into the pits suddenly.
Oh, around the outside of turn 7!
I think we got our answer.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Nearly makes contact with him around the outside, and that's never going to work. That is never going to work. That's highly ambitious there from Will anyway. Chill out the right to defend there, all being honest. But Well anyway, far too aggressive. He thought around the outside of turn number 7. Not often you see a move around the outside there. Made contact on exit because he was so far wide coming off the apex. He was so far wide, made contact with Chill, and then he's given him literally no room, I think. Chill might be the same from his perspective. Be interesting to see his POV. But from my perspective, running ball with the Well anyway, he left hardly any room there on the back of Chill to complete that move. And that's what was his downfall. And now he's going to get overtaken by J. Cole. J. Cole is putting now the lamb to the slaughter. Down and towards turn number 1. Well, anyway, is down. He's into 4th. And J. Cole through, he's into 3rd. And this is good news now for the Red Bulls. They're 1-2 once again. Matt Tibble staying out there still to go on a set of soft compounder tyres potentially. But J. Cole there, set of softs now. He can pull away from Will anyway. And Will anyway is just going to create a big old train in behind him. And maybe feel the wrath of the stewards after this race.
Yeah, it's not, that certainly wasn't what Will anyway will have wanted, I think. I think Will anyway, of course he will have wanted to get through as soon as he could, but he certainly won't have wanted to spin Chill when he did it. And I think definitely the wrath of the stewards might be what he has to deal with after this race. But I think the first thing he has to deal with now is the wrath of the medium tire runners behind him. They're all going to be much quicker than him on the softer compounded tires, presumably. Not definitely, but you would think they will be. So as long as J. Cole can pull out of the DRS range, I think Well anyway will be swallowed up very quickly. I think potentially the hard tires were the wrong choice here. I think the goal, or the optimal strategy might be either 2 sets of softs and a set of mediums, or a set of softs and 2 sets of mediums. And, well, anyway, using the hards, I don't think that was the right strategy call from him.
No, I think he should have went for a set of medium compounded tyres. As I say, I think it's probably more the case of him selecting the wrong tyre as opposed to him being put on that tyre in terms of his strategy. I think he maybe has changed something in terms of the tyres coming into the pit lane, and he's just misselected going onto a set of hard compounded tyres. So there, he's in third. He is sticking with J. Cole, though, which is really good. J. Cole is now pulling into the gap of Dari. 5.5 seconds now the gap between the Red Bulls. But that gap is going to be very hard to bridge. That gap around here, any gap around here is hard to bridge. But when you've got a driver 5.5 seconds in front of you, J. Cole there on a fresh set of softs is going to do basically half the donkey work right now. He's catching 0.3 per second just through this middle sector alone. But he's got Well Anyway in behind. Well Anyway's going to serve him absolutely no help whatsoever. And I think J. Cole is realising that because he's trying to now pull out of a second of DRS. He was 9 tenths away from doing that last time around. He's now, 5 tenths ahead of Well Anyway, so this is going to be more of an uphill task for J. Cole. The more he uses those tyres up, the worse it's going to be for him toward the end of the race. So this is going to be highly intriguing out on track to see what goes on. But coming back to my main point about that, Dari, 5.1 seconds, that gap is going to come down, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to come down at a rate where Dari is going to lose this race lead on this stint. The compounded tyres as Conor Keith flies past Legend down and towards turn 1, and that is job done through these into fifth.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Legend will, of course, be on the back of him now. We'll see, can he make that position back up in a moment? Your prediction for the race win, not doing too good at the moment in terms of trying to win generally. Doing not too bad overall. P6 is a very respectable result in a league like LOE, but must be said, certainly not in the lead, although he is in the train for P2, and the lead group, or J. Cole, and the train behind him are currently catching Dari. So I think those soft tires just being able to drag the cars behind it along, and of course the soft tires having an advantage over the mediums, they brought down the gap by nearly 2 seconds since the start of this stint.
Yeah, and as I say, that's really good news because obviously J. Cole is carving that gap down, but he's doing that at the threat of his ERS and the threat of his tyres as well. Once we get to about 7-8 laps into that stint, those softs will be coming off and he could go on to a set of medium compounded tyres. I think J. Cole will know that he can't catch Dari on this stint. Whether, though, he catches him on the next stint is a different question. Whether he goes more aggressive, goes on to a set of soft compounded tyres if he's got any more left, or goes for a set of mediums is a different thing, but he is about to get overtaken for second. Well, anyway, as I say, sticking with him on that set of hard compounded tyres gets the job done down in towards turn 1. So the pole is through and he's into second. Crucial in terms of the championship as well. I'm just going to get this up on the left-hand side of my screen. It was Well Anyway on 141. J. Cole's on 88, so he's out and down in the top 10 right now. But at this moment in time, Larkin there down in 8th, Tope there down in 4th. At the minute, Well Anyway is the one that's gaining the most points out on track, so this is really good. Ben Chase is not even here tonight, so he's losing that big time. Well Anyway is the one that is gaining that ground, and he's off the back of 4 podiums in 6 races and 2 in a row in France and Hungary in the last 2 weeks. So, Well Anyway is the man in form, and he's certainly getting now J. Cole completely on the stretch, and as I say, J. Cole on those tyres, I think has taken them too aggressively too early.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Only 4 laps into the stint and he's already been re-overtaken by a hard compound tire driver. And he's dropping back from Well Anyway as well. He's nearly 6 tenths back. He was 6 tenths back for a moment. He's up to 5 tenths back now. Theoretically, he could make the position back up down this straight, but I don't think the DRS is going to be enough. I think he's going to need to close up, and maybe next lap he can make a move, but it's not looking good for J. Cole. That's all I can really say here. Those soft tires are not paying the dividends they did for Dari. And you know what? Dari's losing time still, I think. Down to 3 seconds is the gap, and Well Anyway on the hards, he's on harder compound tires than Dari. I think Well Anyway is just driving really well right now.
Yeah, definitely so. Arrow tip there in the chat asking what's the reward for the winner of this? Pride. Pride is probably the award that drivers get out on track here tonight. Championship is already wrapped up, by the way, in terms of, this is the round 13 of the season. Championship is already wrapped up. Rick, of course, won the title by, I think he's, 80 points clear coming into tonight. So that championship is already wrapped up. He doesn't get a trophy or anything. It is just purely for pride and prejudice going into next season on F1 24, which, of course, is coming on the 31st of May, so about 30-odd days now away from the new game being released. What are your feelings about the game? I'd love to hear them in the chat. Well, anyway, though, as you were saying, Dari is losing time still. 2.6 seconds behind Dari. Dari there leading the way. Those set of hard compound tyres, I'm going to say, are going to be about 8% fresher than Dari at this stage. So, well, anyway, has got 8% fresher tyres to use up to really good effect. J. Cole's barely got any tread on those tyres left, judging by how aggressive he was early on in the stint. He's there in third. Well, anyway, there in second. Well, anyway, is doing a good job now. That gap is still coming down. But it's what I said earlier on, that gap is not going to be reachable as Felipe there has spun coming through the right-hander of turn number 14. And I think he might have had an instant with Tuka potentially out on track, because Tuka was going slow through that part of the section as well. Out on track on the right-hand side on your track map. Dari leads the way though. Well, anyway, there in second. Gap is still coming down, but that gap is not going to be within a second. I can tell you that now, between now and when Dari comes into the pit lane, which will be, I think, lap 2021. So it's going to be borderline nearly a second, but I don't think that gap is coming down anytime soon. And well, anyway, we'll be on the same tyres as Dari. Jacob might have to go mediums to cover off.
Sorry, just to clarify, you're saying you don't think the gap between Dari and Well Anyway will be less than a second?
Yeah, with it, when Dari comes in the pits, I'm predicting him to come in, what, lap 20? That gap has been coming down, what, 4/10 average? So yeah, I think the gap is coming down, but I don't think it's going to be within a second when Dari comes into the pits.
I think if you're right about when Dari pits, I think he will be within a second. I think Well Anyway will be right there. I think he'll be pretty much right on the back of Dari, and I think this is going to be a very, very close race, and it's all dependent. Actually, J. Cole's going to look for a move on Well Anyway. Thinks better of it in the end, but caught me off guard, that's for sure. I don't know if he caught Well Anyway off guard, but he certainly got me off guard. And but yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very close race. It looked like a runaway Dari win at the start of this. Well Anyway has really brought himself back into this. J. Cole looking strong as well. Taupe not looking too bad. I think if there's any chaos, Taupe is in a very good seat to get a very good result here. It's impossible to say who will win this one, in my opinion. I think Well Anyway will be very, very close to Dari when he hits. Maybe just outside of a second behind, but I think he will be within that second.
2.1 at the minute. Well, anyway, on that set of hard compound tyres, the set of hards are more durable around this track, so this is going to be really good, I think, from his perspective. Jekyll, though, I think, needs to maybe just put in a probing attack on Well Anyway, and then try and maybe get those hards to fight aggressively and maybe just to overheat slightly, and then bring Taupe, Connor O'Keefe, and the lights into play. Nobody coming in the pit lane just yet out of the front runners. Dari leads the way. Gap has reduced by about 0.3 of a second that lap, so the gap is consistently now reducing, it seems. Well, anyway, there is going to be under attack from J. Cole. Here is J. Cole probing attack in towards turn number 1. Job done surely down in towards turn number 1. And the Red Bull through and he's in 2 seconds. So J. Cole through and he's into second. Well, anyway, there in third. That is what I thought would happen in terms of why I said Dari would be outside of a second to J. Cole and Well Anyway and behind. The gap was 1.9. J. Cole's putting that probing attack. I thought it would have been more aggressive, but in the end, J. Cole through and he's into second. It's just whether or not now those set of soft compound tyres can close up on the mediums ahead, where they're probably around the same tyre life, if not the set of softs are probably worse off compared to Dari at this stage. Dari's very good out on track. J. Cole second, Well Anyway there in third. We are nearly, 75% race distance as well in this race, so we are getting close to that point. Everyone's still going. No VSCs or safety cars, just Patuka, with Nolan there saying in the chat, not to be confused with Jack Nolan of Accrington Stanley, how does Patuka keep a seat when he drives like this? So already, Felipe complaining. I mean, he may as well complain. He's 5.2 seconds off the back of Chill. I'd be complaining about that any day of the week.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I can respect.
Jekyll ride.
Oh, Jekyll
3
penalty.
seconds.
That could have big implications on this race. I mean, he's still gaining on Dari, but it is slowly now that he's out in front, and
locking in.
If he can get right in there you know, with Derry, he has to now gain 3 seconds over him if he wants to win. Here comes Well Anyway as well, down the inside, almost contact there. Maybe there was a bit of it, just wheel banging if there was, but very, very close between those two cars. It's going to be a switchback for Well Anyway as J. Cole gets it through turn 2 pretty nicely. It's going to be the outside for Well Anyway. Surely he can't do that. No, he can't. He's going to be on the back of J. Cole until at least Sector 2, and surely there won't be any good opportunities until the start-finish straight. So surely that's one more lap ahead of, Well Anyway, for J. Cole, as Derry has gained almost half a second through that scrap. I think I think maybe now you may be correct about being over a second ahead, but that is definitely because of that battling. Maybe still would have been, your prediction maybe still would have been right if they hadn't been scrapping away like this, but certainly with the scrapping, I think you will be right on that prediction.
Yeah, I was thinking J. Cole and Well Anyways, Felipe picks up another penalty in behind. I would think Well Anyway and J. Cole are still not done with in terms of this fight, as Darry's into the pit, J. Cole continues on, as does Well Anyway, Tope, Connor O'Keefe, all into the pit lane as well, Legend and Coxie staying out, so this is where they're going to go for that sort of soft compounded tyres towards the end of the race, and for me, that is too early. That is way too early on a set of soft compounded tyres. Yes, they'll be good short term. Longer term, though, as Well Anyway passes J. Cole for the race lead. That's Felipe by mistake. Well Anyway through and into the race lead on the back of J. Cole. That set of soft compound tyres further down the field. Yes, they'll be good short term, but it's now whether or not J. Cole and Well Anyway come in the pit lane. J. Cole, I think, has got a set of soft compound tyres left. Well Anyway does as well. It's Darry the one that's going to be really under pressure now, because he is on a fresh set, so he has actually saved a fresh set. I thought he didn't, but he is on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. Larkin is now on the back of Connor O'Keefe and Tope, and the more that these trudge around out on track ahead, the more Larkin begins to come into play. So tactically, fascinating going on to the final, 8 or 9 laps in this race. Well Anyway leads, J. Cole second, Legend there in third. Buckle up, fasten your seatbelts, we're in for one wild and wacky ride to the end.
Absolutely, and I'd also just, sort of unrelated to the front of the race, but Felipe and Chill look like they're driving drift cars more than Formula 1 cars at the moment. I switched on to Felipe while you were talking just briefly, and he was mid-power slide. You can just see Chill struggling there a bit. He did it just a moment after I had switched on to Felipe. Those two pretty close together, could be battling. As, Well Anyway, J. Cole, Legend, Coxie, Matt Pibos, and potentially Pharrell at the end of this lap, all into the pits. We'll see if Pharrell is as well, but that has big meaning in terms of how this race is going to go. Pharrell stays out, so he'll take the lead, but a net lead surely will be Derry still. Derry is looking very strong today. We'll have to wait and see how this goes for him. He does overtake everybody.
Wow.
Who is in the pits. The undercut is definitely powerful because Connor O'Keefe up into a net P2. Tope ahead of Well Anyway and J. Cole. Larkin in between those two even. J. Cole on the outside. No opportunities there as Well Anyway puts on the mediums.
Yeah, that is
so another time that he goes a bit different to everybody else.
I think he's done the calculations and probably thought, yeah, these softs are not going to get to the end of the race. Judging by how the track is at the minute, those softs are going to get to the end of the race. So I think Well Anyway has done his calculations wrong, and I think he's going to be the one that's really under pressure now from Larkin, J. Cole, Legend all in behind. Legend, by the way, ignore my race prediction that I put at the start of the race. Pharrell leads the way. Darry there in second. Connor O'Keefe there in third. It's Connor O'Keefe, though, and Tope that have gained their track position. The big question is, though, are those set of soft compound tyres really going to be good towards the end of the race? Connor O'Keefe is purple in that middle sector, looking for a second podium in a row, looking for a second win in a row potentially here in Qatar. Darry there in second. On the back as Pharrell's into the pit lane. He will now inherit the race lead, the Red Bull, on the back of the Ferrari. There's the Ferrari coming in the pits on the right-hand side. But Darry now leads the way. It's 1.6 seconds over Connor O'Keefe as they come towards the line. Tope there in third. Well Anyway there in fourth. Larkin now under pressure from J. Cole. And J. Cole probes an attack down in towards turn number 1. We'll turn the timing tower off. Here he is on the right-hand side. In towards turn number 1. Larkin is still there. These two very good rivals out on track. Still got a fight coming in towards turn number 2. Larkin and J. Cole pretty much hammer and fist apart. coming through turns 2 and 3. Now in towards the right-hand turn number 4. Who's got the run? In towards turn number 4. It's Larkin around the outside, and Larkin gets the job done on that slightly older compound tyre, the slightly warmer compound tyre. He's through and he's into 6th, but now Legend up the inside line tries to get 6th off the back of J. Cole. Larkin through, he's into 5th even. J. Cole there in 6th, barely hanging on for Grim Life. Legend there in 7th. Everything now beginning to unfold, and still the gap for the lead coming down. Darry leading the way by a second. Connor O'Keefe, though, slightly less EOS, but he's got a second now to the back of Darry, and that is good news for the front two.
Yeah, this is really just all unraveling as Taupe in 3rd, defending from, well, anyway, unless he just overtook him, I'm not quite sure. I just switched onto him. Thought I might have seen some changes on the position ladder.
Oh, lock and penalty.
But certainly, Taupe in 3rd. He is 2 seconds off the back of the car in front. Connor O'Keefe looking far better than I expected right now.
Well, anyway, attacking on the back of Taupe and towards turn 1. Legends on the back as well of J. Cole. Could be side by side between them both. Down and towards turn 1, Legend up the inside line, J. Cole around the outside, trying to give Legend as little room as possible to the inside curve, and that was nicely done, I've got to say, from J. Cole. Pretty much Legend putting all the way towards the curve, all the way towards the painted curve there on the right-hand side. Nicely done by J. Cole, crowding him out of room, but not making contact. That is a sign of a very good driver there. He's through and he's into 6th, the Legend there in 7th, and has to remain that way. In towards turn 6, thinks about a half dive in towards turn number 6, but doesn't get the job done. Darry leads the way, Connor O'Keefe there in 2nd. Now, if these two can work together, they can keep that gap out at more than a second, and they can keep Well Anyway and Taupe off bay. But Well Anyway, I was really doing him in terms of how I thought he was going and how we thought he calculated. Those medium compound tyres are so quick compared to those softs they had. Well Anyway, he's going to be on the back of these guys, maybe before even the DRS detection point. Well Anyway is looking the strongest in this race right now. In 3rd position, he is the one to watch out for, and he's the one at the minute I think that's going to be taking the race win. There's a battle now really unfolding behind. Taupe, Larkin, J. Cole, Legend, all within the train, and Connor O'Keefe attacking for the race leading towards turn 1.
It's a Ferrari into the lead as Connor O'Keefe goes down the inside. He's through well before even the braking zone.
Oh,
although
3
worth
wide!
pointing out, well,
J. Cole up the inside of both, potentially Larkin and Taupe. Taupe backs out of that to the inside line as J. Cole. They're still side by side between him and Larkin. 2nd lap in a row they've been side by side, and J. Cole manages it around the outside of turn number 2. Brilliant stuff. Larkin now pulls the inside line, puts him under more pressure. J. Cole, though, that is a lap from the gods. Brilliant move from J. Cole. Throonies into 4th. Larkin there in 5th. Taupe in 6th. Legend there in 7th. You cannot defend a quick car down the straight in towards turn number 1, and J. Cole put his car up the inside. Larkin realised he was there. J. Cole allowed through, and he's up into 4th. Really nice driving out on track.
And is it weird that I kind of think Connor O'Keefe might win this race suddenly? I mean, he didn't seem that exceptional in the midsection of this race, but he's sitting out in the lead now. And with Darry going, honestly, a bit slowly at this stage in the race, I think Well Anyway will maybe get caught up behind him a little bit. He won't be easy to overtake being on the soft, even if his pace does seem to be a bit lesser at the moment. So I think Connor O'Keefe might be in a really, really good position here. Well Anyway as well, of course, is in a great position in 3rd, but Darry just feels like he's sinking. Looked so strong in that first stint, but now he's just sinking. And as you say, Larkin down the inside of J. Cole. J. Cole's going to sit right behind him. J. Cole's not going to be able to make this back up right now, is he?
No, he's not. Absolutely no chance of getting that move done. Larkin he's into 4th. Parked that car as best as Sunderland's defence really in the championship this season. Larkin he's into 4th. J. Cole there in 5th. Taupe there in 6th. Really nice position of the car. Well Anyway, back to my point about Well Anyway. I think he's got maybe this race win in safekeeping. Connor O'Keefe is leading the way, but is he going aggressive on those tyres? Darry's certainly gone aggressive. He's now losing time to the back of Connor O'Keefe. Well Anyway is just sitting pretty. 43% of EOS right now compared to Darry on 24, and Connor O'Keefe wide coming now through. Has he got a problem? Connor O'Keefe, no, he's going to put Darry in front. That is tactical from the Ferrari. I think that's the wrong call, personally. Connor O'Keefe, that is something I haven't seen around this track in, what, 2-3 years of commentary actually around this track. Darry leads the way, Conor O'Keefe in second. Conor O'Keefe wants that DRS, but Well Anyway has got the chance now to attack. Does he realise he's got double the amount of ERS? The pole now, closing in on the back of the Ferrari. That Alfa Romeo looks so quick down the straight line. Darry's ascending duck through in towards turn 1. Darry backs out of that, and that is Conor O'Keefe through into the lead. Well Anyway there in second. And now, Darry going to be on the back foot. That was smart from Conor O'Keefe in the end, but he's got a man on a set of medium compounded tyres behind him who's got double the amount of ERS, probably better off tyres as well. My personal opinion, Well Anyway, he's absolutely running all over the back of Conor O'Keefe right now.
2.5 laps to go, more or less, and it is anyone's game between these top three, especially Well Anyway, as you say, sitting very, very nicely there in P2. He can bide his time, he can go for it now, whatever he wants to do. He does seem to be in a brilliant position for it. Conor O'Keefe also looking very good, and if things go as they did last lap, Darry might be in a good position to move up into second, if he's lucky first, down towards turn 1, but he's falling off the back of those front two now. I think he's certainly taken too much out of his tires. It looks like it's his front tires that are struggling. He's got a time penalty. Darry is out of the fight for this race win unless Well Anyway and Conor O'Keefe have some great calamity. Darry is not going to win this race. It's going to be a Ferrari or an Alfa Romeo. Which of them will it be? It looks like it's going to be Well Anyway. He's in the DRS. He's in the slipstream. He's going to go down towards turn 1 behind Conor O'Keefe. Is he going to go into it ahead of him? He is. He's on the inside and he breaks later. He's through into P1. That is the lead for Well Anyway. After so many laps of trying, the Alfa Romeo is out in front.
That closing speed is so good, I've got to say, around this track. And the Alfa Romeo proved that down the straight in towards turn 1. It's so quick, that closing speed. And Well Anyway, as Conor O'Keefe picks up a penalty, that is now race game over. Well Anyway, as long as he doesn't pick up a penalty, is going to win this race outright out on track. He's got more ERS, more better off tyres, I think, at this stage of the race as well. Conor O'Keefe now beginning to really fight his car. You can tell Darry's on the rubber edge in terms of those tyres as well and behind. But Well Anyway leads the way. Well Anyway, though, is he going to win this race? He beautifully positioned that car, but now Conor O'Keefe's back within slipstream. He's back within ERS range and DRS range. He's got barely any battery left. He is going to be 15 to 20 mile an hour slower than that car ahead, even with DRS down the straight. Well Anyway leading the way. Conor O'Keefe there in second. Darry there in third. Darry seems out of it. He just seems like he's going to try around for P3 right now. Larkin and J. Cole with Tope and Legend the ones to watch out for, I think, potential for podium finishes. Here we go, though. Final lap of the race about to begin. Well Anyway leads the way. Conor O'Keefe there in second. And you can tell with Conor O'Keefe, he is making absolutely zero inroads in towards turn 1. J. Cole and Larkin round 5 out on track through turn number 1. J. Cole through into 4th. Larkin there in 5th. Tope and Legend there 6th and 7th. But I'm going to switch it to the gap to the leader. That's going to be the interesting one. Tope 3.6 seconds behind. It's currently 2.6 between Darry and Tope. I make that as Conor O'Keefe picks up another penalty. He's pushing the car way too hard and proves that down in towards turn number 7. Takes a bit out of those tyres. Well Anyway is on course for race victory here in Qatar.
Yeah, Well Anyway can't afford to get another warning, though. He will have a penalty if he gets one more warning. He has 2 exceeding track limits warnings, but that being said, the only driver behind him without a penalty, the closest driver behind him without a penalty, I should say, is over 3 seconds behind him. So he should be safe either way, especially now that Conor O'Keefe has 2 time penalties, and Conor O'Keefe dropping off the back of Well Anyway a little bit. It has been a brilliant race for Well Anyway. I don't know how his strategy was, but his pace was unbelievable.
And he's the man in form coming into tonight. 2 podiums in a row, 4 podiums out of 6 in coming into Qatar here tonight. Well Anyway is going to cross the line to win the Qatar Grand Prix. Conor O'Keefe barely hangs on for second. Darry overtakes him though on penalties. To the line though, they keep second. Darry keeps their third. Conor O'Keefe all the way down there in 8th position, and it's Tope who gets second by 0.08 of a second. That is good for him in the championship compared to Well Anyway. Well Anyway gaining points on the back of Tope. Tope, though, gaining points on everyone else. Larkin there down in 7th. Ben Jess not showing here tonight. Taupe is the one that could be wrapping up P2 in the standings coming into next week, the final round of the season before Eurovision week. Well, anyway, wins here though in Qatar. Taupe in second, Dari there in third. That's how the front three finish. And well, anyway, absolutely, I think, took that to the soul. Conor O'Keefe's strategy call, I think, is a DNF, I think, out on track there. Just saw that on the left-hand side. Not sure who that might have been. Come on to that in a second. But, well, anyway, wins out on track. Larkin gets driver of the day awarded by the in-game fans. I think Conor O'Keefe's strategy to go in behind and gain that DRS to Dari, put Dari out of contention, but not only put himself out of contention, I think, as well. And that's what decided for me for Will Anyway. Will Anyway wins, and he's my driver of the day.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I would put him as my driver of the day as well. Well, anyway, just such a beautiful drive today. I mean, so often he found himself on the harder compound of tire compared to the drivers around him. He's got to be one of, if not the only driver in the field who didn't use softs today, and he still managed to come out on top. That is a perfect example of someone who can use the tires he has to his advantage instead of just sticking it on the softest tires and going.
And in the end, Division 3, take notes. I certainly am. Well, anyway, wins from Taupe in second. Dari there in third. Really good racing out on track. There wasn't even a VSC or a safety car in that race, and that just speaks volumes, I think, of what happened there out on track. Legend there, by the way, in fourth, with Coxey there in fifth, J. Cole there in sixth, Larkin there in seventh, Conor O'Keefe there in eighth, Matt Tibos there in ninth, Beauty Boy top 10, then Farrell in 11th, the 2 12, that was Jay Hings, by the way, that's why we ended early. Jay Hings' AI car there in 13th, Chill beating Felipe as well, a lap down, 14th and 15th position, out on track. But that is the Qatar Grand Prix over and done with for tonight. Well, anyway, wins from Taupe in second, Dari there in third. Division 1, I think, is still ongoing. I'm just going to tune into that live stream right about now. And they've literally just come across the line. And my man Nuthers won, which I'm very, very happy about. My man Nuthers picked up a very good race victory there in Division 1. Verstappen there in second and Franek there in third. So, I would have said if you did want to tune in for the final lap, they've already finished. So, unfortunately, you can't. But we're going to have a look at the calendar coming into next week. And, well, there's only one round left to go. It is Austin, Texas. It's Qatar. Drivers are liking this track to DRS Train City. We are in DRS Train City next week in Austin. How are the drivers going to cope next week?
Oh, it's hard to say. I mean, Coda is such a technical track. I mean, you've got the S section at the start. The second sector is not too difficult, admittedly, but that last sector as well is just, you've got so much stuff in there where you have to be so precise with your line, and yet at the same time you can just offset yourself slightly for an overtake and you can make it work. It's really a technical circuit, and I think it's really hard to say how drivers will do in that race because of that.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously 28 laps to round off the season in the Circuit of the Americas, a race that I'm personally very much looking forward to getting going out on track for the final round of the season and the final race on F1 23 as well next week for the Division 2 guys, and in fact for all of our divisions next season, next week as well. Next season, I'm sure Silence will be open as soon as the new game comes out. Everything, I'm sure, will get confirmed in the Discord. The Discord link, by the way, is outdated in the description. I'm sure we're going to change that over the course of the next week so you can get into the new Discord and hopefully you can partake in season number 14, I think. No, season 14? Season 12 even, at Division 1 of League of Europe. Anyway, you can tell I'm tired. Division 3 invites are going to be coming out very soon indeed, so I'm going to end it off here. Big thank you to Adrian for joining me in the commentary box alongside me. Hopefully it'll be a good race next week at nearly his home race in Austin, Texas. But we are going to say goodbye to you, and hopefully you can tune in for Division 3 at 10 past 8 UK time. It's Verstappen and Cool Boy, I think, who was taking you through the action, if I'm not mistaken. Brilliant race. Hopefully more to come next week in Austin. Thank you so much for watching League of Europe this season, and until the season finale in Austin, Texas next week, goodbye.